shares in Cronos, the cannabis company, rallying today up around 15% after Q3 net revenue jumped almost 40% amid rising international demand. And the company also posted a profit versus a net loss in the same period a year ago. We are joined by Mike Gorenstein, CEO of Cronos. Thanks very much for coming on the show, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
I was interested to see you posted a profit of just over $7 million in the latest quarter. Was part of that an accounting item or a gain or something?
I think it's always an accounting item, but there's a lot of different drivers. I think you've seen the business overall improve. I think that from a treasury perspective, just given the balance sheet, interest income certainly contributes. And then the consolidation of GrowCo is something that's new this quarter and that will continue on, but that also, I think, helps with the gain.
Although you had an EBITDA loss, though, an adjusted EBITDA loss of $6 million.
Yeah, again, I think we're probably in a different position than most cannabis companies in that we do not have debt and we have $862 million in cash. So, because of that, we have interest income. So you should expect the bottom line to still be better than EBITDA.
Oh, okay. So that was the fundamental driver, though, of the $7 million profit, the interest income?
Well, I think that certainly contributes, but when you look against last quarter, against last year, the business itself is significantly improved and it continues to improve. We've moved to be the #1 brand in Canada now. We continue to take share in Israel, and then a lot of growth in international markets like Germany and the UK as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. This brand Spinach, you say, is the #1 in Canada.
That's right. So we achieved #1 brand this quarter. It's really driven by a number of things, including being the #1 edibles. We have over 17% share. We're also #1 in flower, #4 in vapes, and #8 in pre-rolls.
Okay. I'm just looking here. So I was a bit confused about the profit. So you had a thing called an inventory step-up recorded to cost of sales of just over $7 million. So that was the thing that gave you that profit.
Well, so the inventory step-up, what's happening is because we consolidated a joint venture that we actually already owned, it's treated as an acquisition. So what happens is it's treated as if we bought the inventory at fair market value. So that's really something we try to help explain by providing adjustments.
Okay.
But that was we announced it last quarter, if you recall, when we expanded our joint venture to increase capacity by 70%, and we took control of the board. So it's consolidated now, and we had to do that because we have. With the increased demand, we have not been able to fill everything. So we need more capacity.
Your brand Peace Naturals is the #1 in Israel. How much of your revenue would come from Israel?
So we don't break out specifically among countries, but I can say that we've had real improvement there. We've continued to take share, and we're really happy with the way things are going, especially given the geopolitical tensions over the last year. Really proud of what the team's done.
Can you give us a breakdown of how much of your revenue is recreational and how much is medical?
Yeah, the biggest part of our business by far is recreational. That's really the anchor, and we continue to grow in that. I think despite what you're seeing happen overall in the Canadian market. But when you think percentage growth going forward, without any new markets converting over, we think that a lot of that growth is going to come from medical. Not in Canada, but in Europe.
It's Christie, the former New Jersey governor, who I think has been ruled out by President-elect Trump for his cabinet, though. But he's been quoted as saying that the Trump administration will remove federal restrictions on marijuana. So that is encouraging cannabis investors today, although I don't know how much influence Christie has at this stage.
I think one thing about welcoming President Trump back to office is that we will expect a lot of volatility and comments that are different sides. I think it's still really early in the transition team being put together, so we're not exactly sure what will happen. But I will say that I think from a cannabis policy perspective, you're likely to see a bit of a reset because you do have a new administration and the House and Senate turning over. So I don't think it'll be continuing, where things were. I think that rescheduling is sort of put off for a while. But we are optimistic that, the comments that Trump and various people in his administration have made about this being a states issue and really leaving up to the states versus the federal government intervening.
Can you remind me, and I know this is kind of ancient history now, but does Altria, the tobacco giant, have any stake in Cronos right now, or any relationship or investment?
Yeah, so they're our largest shareholder at over 40%.
Okay.
They have 3 of our 7 board seats, plus they nominate the 4th as an independent, and we have a exclusive relationship for cannabis. So certainly not ancient history. We're actually still very close.
That's interesting. And Mike, you're an expert on consumer trends. What's the latest trend in cannabis? For a while in Canada, as you know, we saw consumers go to very strong blends, very strong types of marijuana, and then it was value. What's the latest in cannabis marketing on the retail level?
I think the biggest trend to watch is infused pre-rolls. I think that certainly value is something that's there, but what infused pre-rolls really allows for is to provide that value, but also to start tailoring and provide a more consistent experience. So infused pre-rolls is certainly something to watch, and I also think that you'll expect more around terpenes and flavor to continue to be something that consumers demand. So a few years ago, it used to just be potency, but with more options on the market, with more innovation, and with companies just generally getting better at making cannabis products, I think consumers have the ability to pick not just potent, but also potency, flavor, and overall experience.
And so, sorry, we've only got a few seconds. Infused pre-rolls, I think of those as being very strong. Is that? But that's not quite that simple.
They don't have to be, but traditionally they are. That's what consumers want. And, one of the things, if consumers want it, companies, and especially us, will find a way to deliver it.
You got it. Mike, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Mike Gorenstein, CEO of Cronos.